Hello everybody, my name is Sunny and welcome to today's video, which is long overdue, episode 120 of my podcast, where I like to share projects that I'm making, working on, yarns I'm using, all the things that I do crafty in my life. If that sounds interesting to you, stick around. My last video was 5 months ago, and I did not intend on taking a hiatus from making my videos. It just happened. Yeah, so, but I'm here and I have a lot to share with you all today. So this may be a bit of a lengthy one. Go ahead and get yourself something to work on, or you know, something to sip on. I've got water with me today because it's going to be in the 90s here in Vermont tomorrow and the next day, which is something we are not used to at all. It actually takes a lot of strategy on the part of factories and things like that to make sure people are not in danger at all. There's a lot of check-ins on elderly care and those who are vulnerable to the heat. So yeah, when we have temperatures up in the 90s, it's a big deal. So hydrating ahead of time. Now, as I mentioned, it's been a long time since my last video. And in case you're new here, hi, I'm Sunny. I live in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont with my 3 kids, my husband, my chickens, which I have 8 right now. Those are new, and 3 cats. So lots of plurals, 1 singular husband. Yeah, so I think, what was 5 months ago? That was my last video in January, something like that. And I've done a fair bit, not a ton. I got into a bit of a slump. Seasonal depression really got to me. I think that's what it's called. And work really took it out of me this year. In case one of my, not my students, but a student at my school is watching, hello. And yeah, so it just really went by fast, but also super slow. We had a special trip, which I will talk more about that in a little bit. But I'm back, and it's summer break, and I'm feeling a bit better and able to handle my time. So I'm actually not going to start with the pile of scarves that you see in the thumbnail and that I momentarily teased you with a second ago. I'm actually going to start. My daughters created something today, and they actually wanted me to share. So it was my oldest 2 daughters. And in case you're new here, I don't share pictures or anything of my kids. They're not featured in my videos. That is not a judgment on anybody else. That is just what works for our family. So, but they did want me to share these. So we got something new, and they were able to create these pot holders. And this is my eldest. I know because it has the yellow tab, and she, as she puts it, there's something special on it right there. One of the threads didn't go past, but so this is my oldest, and my middle daughter also got one, and this is hers. And they didn't do a pattern or anything to my knowledge. I think they did a rainbow pattern, but they didn't follow like a pattern from a book or anything. So I thought these were really cool, and I was actually surprised that they got them done today. My eldest did it in just about one sitting, and my middle daughter, not far off. So I thought they looked really cool. We got these kits from Northeast Fiber Arts Center, which is located just outside Williston, Vermont, near Burlington. It's near Burlington. It's the east side of Burlington. That's. I'll have the shop link down below. So they saw these. We went in yesterday because we were going to a Lake Monsters game. My eldest saw this, and then my middle daughter saw this, and of course they both had to get their own kits. They couldn't share, heaven forbid. But they both worked on it today. They both created something today, and they can submit these to the 4-H. They're both in 4-H, so they can submit this for fair entries, which is pretty cool. There. They were really excited about me sharing those. All right, on with this pile of scarves in my lap. This was my Lenten project this year. I decided I was going to make scarves that I can donate this upcoming winter. And so these are all double crochet scarves. I did have somebody who can crochet confirm that I was in fact double crocheting and not half double crocheting, because I don't really know for certain. But this is all random yarn that I had in my stash. So it was kind of nice to get a bunch of this done and out. So that's a nice teal one. This is the same yarn as the teal, but I'm not holding it together with the white. So this one is a bit thinner. I was thinking this one is doubled and possibly for a kid. But this was, what was it called? Neko Mona Lisa, I think is what it was. Ooh, that sun keeps popping in and out and doing funny things. This was a yarn I got years and years ago from Hobby Lobby. I think it was a DK or Sport Weight, something like that. And I had no plans for it, so I was happy to use it here. This is just a white worsted weight held together with Heat Wave. I think it was called Blossom or Flower. So that one came out really neat. There. That's 4. This is just a white one, and it got snagged on a nail. I'm going to have to see if I can fix that. White and yellow, both worsted weight, and I think I got the yellow from Hobby Lobby. They're Crafters something. I can't remember. It was like Crafter's Secret, I think. That one's nice and snuggly. This one, just, I don't know what I was thinking. It's like, I don't know how long it is. 10 feet long, 8 feet long. It's huge. But it's going to keep somebody really warm. Nice hunter orange. We do have a large hunting population up here, so it is a nice, safe one to make. And last but not least is this one, which is a bit shorter, and it's, I don't know, it's maroon and white. I thought it looked rather Christmassy, and this was yarn that I got from Premier. It's a Premier Basics. So, and that was pretty good. I got, I think, 7 done, and my goal was to do 4. 4 for one for every 10 days. Lent is 40 days long, so you know, I got more than I was expecting to get done, which is good. And yeah, so I did that in March into April, and then that was the big project. Now I kind of skimmed through my last video, and I had mentioned that I was going to be using a Patons yarn to make a pair of socks, and I did. I followed through with something. I still haven't made plans for a lot of things, a lot of my goals, but I did make those socks, and I love them. They are warm, they are cozy. I think I used a size US 2 needle or 2.5, US 2.5. They're big, they're stretchy, they are perfect for around the house, and I am super duper happy with them. And I do use Shadow Wrap Heel in all of my socks, because I just in that phase of life where I can't do any counting or anything, I really can't focus too much on paying attention or having to figure out where I was. My sock knitting is kind of my mindless knitting, so if I can just pick it up and go, even if I'm in the heel, that's what I want to do. I'm kind of going to go through this kind of fast because there's a lot. I also made these for my youngest, and I'm not sure why I haven't woven any ends yet, but I haven't. This is also Patons in stripes, maybe? I don't have the ball band. This is yarn that I purchased when one of my local yarn stores was going out of business. She was closing up and moving to Florida, so I purchased a bunch of yarn from her last February, 2024 February. So loving this. Obviously I need to weave in the ends and let her wear them. And I also, for my youngest, I finished this today. And I still need to weave in the ends, but you know, since I just finished them today, I'll give myself a bit of grace. And they are not matchy-matchy. Pretty much none of my socks are. They start in different spots. Shadow Wrap Heel. Because I did the Shadow Wrap Heel without changing colors, without using a contrast color, it didn't make this section here really long on both of them, but I don't think she's gonna mind at all. And this is using, where'd it go? I'm gonna say it incorrectly. Grendel Hot Socks, Lazies, and I believe it's 4-ply, and the colorway 5, which I think is Party. It's called Party. And this is yarn that I got from a Hobbii order. They had lucky bags, and it was sock yarn, and this was in it, and this is from like 2023. So I'm finally using yarn from that order. Finally. But they came out really cute. And she likes them. Always the goal. Now, my middle daughter, I have 2 pairs of socks for her. This is a pair of socks using, oh no, it's the colorway is called Unicorn Bark, and I think it's Malbrico, possibly, I can't remember. But I did the whole foot of the sock because I start toe up, I do my socks toe up, 2 at a time, magic loop. And I realized I had gone way too far. And so I used the magic heel pattern, which kind of saved me. I didn't have to undo anything. I was just like, oh, I'll make it a magic heel. She'll be able to wear them for years. And that's what I did. This is fingering weight. I actually have a few fingering weights. I've been on a DK kick for a long time, and I've decided to use up some of my fingering weight. So there are those. And then she picked out this yarn at the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival of 2024. This is from Woolens and Nosh, and it's called The Mayor of Halloween Town, which, love it. Oh, and I am missing a pair, but I think she's got them up in her room. We also got one called I Heard, Tore Your Faces Right Off. Or did I show that one? I may have done that a long time ago and shared that one. Maybe not. But I did not do the contrast color. I think I did. It did come with a contrast color. I just didn't do it. But love those. I love Woolens and Nosh. We get something from her booth every year that I go. These are definitely not a disappointment. I think, is it this one or the other one? There was one that was sport weight. I think it's the other one. Anyway, so love those. Kind of wish I had enough to make some for me. And then my oldest, I didn't realize how many socks I've done so far this year, which I know for some that's not many, but my oldest, we got this really cool experience. She's in the Girl Scouts, and one of the opportunities we got to do as a troop was stay overnight on a battleship. It's in Massachusetts. It's called Battleship Cove. It's really cool. They have a battleship, a destroyer, and a submarine, all decommissioned. And you can tour them. You can walk through them. Like, it's not a guided tour or anything. But on the battleship, I think it's the Missouri. No, it's the Massachusetts. So Massachusetts, USS Massachusetts. You can stay overnight there. It's called Nautical Nights. And it was one of the coolest experiences. What was really funny was listening to everybody moan and groan when Revelry was called in the morning over the intercom system. And if you know, you know. Not many people enjoy being woken up to by the sound of a bugle. I thought it was hilarious. I was awake ahead of time. But I knew I needed something to work on. It was a 3-hour drive down, which actually turned into a 4-hour drive because of torrential rains. I was not driving, so I did get some yarn out the night before. I dug out all my DK weight yarn, and I said, pick a skein, and I'll make you a pair of socks. And so she picked this, which is from Yarnaceous Fibers. It's part of the Jurassic World Yarn Club. So I would have had a video on this when I got the Yarn Club. I would make individual videos of that opening. But this is Bronto DK, 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon. And this, and the colorway is called Time is Against Us. And this is what it looks like, worked up. And there's some really nice pops of, it's like a brown and terracotta color. I think this one shows it better. Really, really pretty. They came out nice. So these took me a week. Of course, there was school and everything in there, so really happy with those. And she's already been wearing them, so. And then last pair of socks. How many pairs is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? 7 pairs of socks, not bad. These I have not worn, but these are for me. This is called All Hallows Eve from Evergreen Yarn Studios. I do not know if this is something that's still available. This is a DK weight. They are side by side. And obviously one is not like the other, but I do love that opposite effect. And again, shadow wrap heel. These were really fun to make. I loved seeing how they came out basically opposites, but I'll get close. So yeah, that was all the socks I've made. And I didn't realize I made that many. I didn't realize I still had some I had to weave the ends in onto. We'll get on to that. All right. I know I'm kind of flying through everything, but if I didn't, we would be here for a long time. And I don't think I have that much memory left on my phone. So we're just gonna go. My last make. So I have a funny story with this. The last time you saw this, I had been working the neck area, and I think I had just connected it. But I have since, yay, got the body done and one sleeve. Yay. Now, I realize now I could have gone down a size and it would have been fine. I think I'm making extra large, which is what I typically make and wear for myself. I think I could have gone down to a large because I do have a lot of room in the armpit area. But I don't mind. This is supposed to be a comfy, cozy sweater. This is called the Mud Season. I have all the details in my last video, and I am using it's a Patons yarn, I think. It's wool and acrylic. Again, all the details. I'll put them down below, but also I talked extensively, I think, about it in my last video. But I set this down during Lent, and I was like, oh, I've got to do the split for sleeves. I don't want to do the split for sleeves. Ugh, it's going to be a pain. It's really never. And then I just never picked it up. And I thought, I've got to pick it up. I want to finish it. I want to finish it. I picked it up a few weeks ago, and I literally went like this. Because I had no memory of making the body of the sweater. I was like, when did I knit this? Who? And if I had somebody else in my house that knit, I would have sworn it was the other person in my house that had knit the body of the sweater, because I just couldn't remember doing it. And I was like, I have vague memories of working on this sweater, making the body of the sweater, but I don't have like detailed memories of working on this sweater. I'm like, okay, I obviously did it. I mean, and obviously it's a very simple sweater. I am altering it because the pattern actually calls for like sleeves that end right about here. That's not my jam. I wanted a long sleeve sweater. I didn't even do any decreases in the sweater, in the sleeve. It was just straight one round of knit two together, and then I went switch from a US 10 needle for the sleeve to a US 9 needle for the cuff, and then I think I only did 7 rounds for the cuff. I also did not measure the sleeve. I put the sweater on to see if it was falling where I wanted it to fall, because I have, I think, a couple sweaters now where the sleeves are different lengths, and I don't know. I'm like, do I have one arm longer than the other? I don't know. Is that possible? I mean, obviously it's possible, but I've never measured my arms. But whenever I try to like measure everything and get it perfect, they fit differently. So I'm just deciding on this one. I am knitting it and trying it on and going that route instead of measuring it. We'll see. So I just have one sleeve left and then the collar, and then I'm done. Just in time for the heat wave. Yeah. But I haven't picked this up in a couple weeks, probably because we're finally getting summer weather up here. It took a long time. We got like 2 days in May where it got above 50 or 60. It was a cold spring. So I know I'm happy to get warm weather. I know it presents its problems up here, but that is what it is. I really hate that expression. Okay. We're gonna go on to acquisitions, which I've been pretty good. I made the choice over Lent not to buy any yarn, and I don't think I did. And then I've made a couple purchases since then. I feel like there's one that I don't have. No, I think I have all of them. Okay, so back in April, my family went on their first big family vacation. We did it up and we went to Disney World. And I know, crinkle, crinkle. When we got back, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be a great idea if for the girls' Christmas socks, which I do the same thing every year. For my girls' Christmas socks, either there's a common theme or I'm using the same yarn. This time, the theme was Disney yarn, and I found it from Happy Mermaid Yarn Co. I'm just gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And they all picked out their own yarn. She has an entire line of yarn, Disney yarn, and it's 2024. I know we're into 2025, but whatevs. So this is called Pachyderms on Parade. I don't know what it's from, but I think this is, I don't even know who's got what. I don't know. They know which ones is theirs. So this is a sock set. I think they were all like $35, something like that. It's fingering 75-25, extra fine superwash merino and nylon with 2 minis that are 20 grams each. So there's that one. This is called Grin Like a Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat. That one's really pretty. And then this one is There's More to Life Than Scaring. Which I'm assuming is from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Hoping, because I told her that's what it was. So, and I really want to work on them. However, my kids are growing, as my dad always put it, growing like a weed. And so they are growing fast. So I don't want to make them their Christmas socks in fear that by the time, I don't want to make them now in case by the time Christmas comes around, they don't really fit anymore. So that's going to have to be a fall project. Also, great customer relations from Happy Mermaid Yarn Co. Just great experience with them. Check them out. I know I first became aware of them back when Kayla from the Crazy Sock Lady had her store, and that's where I first purchased some of her yarn. Yeah. And so I follow her on Etsy and all that good stuff. And okay. Acquisitions. I also made another purchase yesterday at Northeast Fiber Arts Center, and this was in their clearance section. So these were $17.99 each, and it's, I don't know, oh man, nope, I'm not gonna get it. Araucania? I'm so sorry. It's a Fiesta yarn. It's that right there. In the colorway Fiesta. So it's a very loose roving yarn. I'm going to make a scarf for my oldest daughter out of it. She picked out this yarn, and I'm going to make a scarf for her for winter. I was going to get a pattern there, but the woman didn't know if the pattern was free or if she had to pay for it, and she was kind of just filling in, and she wasn't sure, and so I was like, it's okay, I'll take a picture of it, and you know, if I'm gonna buy it, I'll buy it at home, it's okay. I didn't want her to get all worried. So that's that. It is going to be hopefully a diagonal scarf for the winter. And I would like to get it done soon because I have been trying to track my yarn usage this year. I suppose I need to track more of the yarn coming in as well as the yarn that I'm using, which I have not been doing. But I do know that I have used over 2,000 grams of yarn this year as kind of my midway checkpoint. It's probably closer to 3,000 because I did make a bunch of dishcloths for my coworkers for Teacher Appreciation Week, and I didn't weigh them and I didn't include them in my total when I did total everything up. So I should redo that, and the next time I do a podcast, hopefully I'll have those totals for you. But yeah, I do need to, next year that's going to be the goal. Keep track of what's coming in and keep track of what I'm using and what's going out. I think overall I have not been making as many purchases this year, which is nice. However, we have the Great Northern Yarn Crawl coming up. It starts July 1st, which I normally participate in. And the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival is in October, early October this year, and I would love to go to that. Also, my friend Anna and I, hi Anna, if you're watching, have both agreed it's been far too long since we've seen each other. Yeah, I think my eldest was 2 or 3 at the time, so we definitely need to get together and we need to think of something to do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be yarn or wool or fiber centered, but it'd be fun if it was. So, all right, I think that's everything. Oh no, it's not. You know, I was just talking about how I haven't had many acquisitions. And honestly, I have not. But I did take part at the Knit Picks $2, $4, and $6 yarn sale. All right. So to do this, uh-oh, my chair's undoing the door. All right. I'm gonna slide this up here. That's all going that way. Whew. Hopefully I don't run out of storage. Okay. So I did want to get the free shipping, so I think I had to make a $75 purchase. So I decided to buy the yarn that I'm going to use for my students' Christmas gifts, hats, right now. So I'm going to go through this kind of fast. This is Brava, and the color is Rosebud. This is a bulky weight. This is Tranquil. Cornflower. This is a worsted weight. And this is, oh, Laguna. This one is Eggplant. This one is Super Blue. I haven't even really looked at them too much. Celestial. Orchid. Canary. Fun fact, my grandfather used to have a canary. I still remember hearing it. This one is just Peachy Speckle. I was part of the generation that used that term all the time. This is colorway Wine. And this is Cobblestone Heather. And one more for students. This one is Peapod. And I can have up to 10 students in my class, so I thought it was wise to get, I think, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. And I try to have, I let them pick which hat they like, so I try to have extras. So there's those. And I think those were all $2. Is there a packing slip? There is a packing slip, but no prices on them. So then I got a bunch of Felici. This one is called Sanderson. I still have a bunch from the last time they had a sale, so gotta get on that. This one is called Board. Okay, I did get 4 of those. This one is called Board Shorts, and I think I know who I'm going to make these for, and I'm going to hold the yarn double. And I don't know if I'm going to try to keep it true to stripes, or if I'm going to switch up the stripes. I might try to switch them up so that the colors are not in line. They're actually out of sync and kind of give it a more marled striped effect. This one is called, I think it's Sebastian. Yep, Sebastian. I got this for my youngest because I can make 1 pair of socks for her out of this. This is called Buddy. And then this is called Beach Cruiser. So that's all the Felici yarn. And then I got a couple statics? Yeah. Statics. This one is called, oh, you have your actual name on here. Oh yes, Carlton. I think these were all kind of like 90s vibe. The Book House Boys, I don't know what that is. It's a reference to something, but I don't know. And then this one is Rugrat, which I really like that one. These might be mine. And one more thing, I need to make that price limit. I got this Alpaca Cloud fingering weight. It's 50 grams in the color Arabella Heather. And I love green. So that one made me really, really happy. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Probably should have thought about that ahead of time. Oh well. So that's it. That's what I've been up to. Lots of sports going on, and now we're into summer, so we're just coasting through. But all right, since we're at the 41-minute mark, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I hope you all enjoyed watching it. Let me know if you had any favorite projects I got finished, favorite yarns that I've acquired, if you know how to, pronounce this one. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's really nice though. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and hope to see you soon. Bye.